Imagine a place where death is not an end, but a slow, sacred transition, where the deceased remain part of the family, fed, clothed, and spoken to as if they were only sleeping. In the rugged, emerald highlands of South Sulawesi, Indonesia, the Toraja people have turned mortality into an art form, a communal celebration, and a bridge between worlds. Here, funerals are extravagant festivals, corpses are lovingly preserved for years, and ancestors are exhumed, dressed in new garments, and paraded through the village. This is not horror, this is devotion. Welcome to the world of the living dead, where the line between this life and the next is so thin, it nearly disappears. A culture that refuses to say goodbye. For the Toraja, death is not a sudden departure, but a prolonged journey. When someone passes away, they are not called dead, they are temacula, a sick person. The body is carefully preserved using traditional embalming methods, sometimes with natural herbs and vinegar, or modern techniques like formaldehyde. The deceased stays in the family home, sometimes for months or even years, while relatives prepare for an elaborate funeral. During this time, the dead are treated as if they are still with the living. Meals are brought to them, conversations include them, and their presence is a comforting constant. This practice stems from the belief that the soul does not immediately leave the earth. Instead, it lingers, requiring guidance, offerings, and immense respect before it can safely travel to Puya, the afterlife. Until the proper funeral rites are performed, the deceased is considered in a vulnerable state, and the family must ensure their passage is honored with the utmost care. Funerals fit for kings, the spectacle of Rambu Solo. If you think your culture goes all out for weddings, wait until you see a Torajan funeral. The Rambu Solo is not a quiet gathering of mourners in black. It's a days-long, sometimes weeks-long, spectacle of feasting, dancing, and ritual sacrifice. The scale of the event depends on the family's wealth and status, with the most elaborate ceremonies involving the slaughter of dozens, even hundreds, of water buffalo and pigs. These animals are not merely food, they are sacred offerings. The Toraja believe that the more buffalo sacrificed, the faster the soul ascends to the afterlife. The buffalo, especially the prized albino ones, are symbols of wealth and divine favor. Their horns are mounted on the family's tonkanen, traditional ancestral house, as a sign of prestige. The funeral is also a social event, where distant relatives return to the village, alliances are strengthened, and the community reaffirms its bonds. The climax of the ceremony is the procession, where the deceased is carried through the village in an ornate wooden palanquin, accompanied by music, chants, and the rhythmic stomping of dancers. The atmosphere is electric, more festival than funeral. Grief is present, but so is celebration, because for the Toraja, death is not just an ending, it's a transformation. The living dead, Ma'nene, the ritual of cleaning corpses. If the funeral is grand, what comes next is even more extraordinary. Every few years, the Toraja perform Ma'nene, the ceremony of cleaning corpses. Families climb up to cliffside burial sites or open stone graves, carefully retrieving the mummified remains of their ancestors. The bodies, often remarkably well preserved, are cleaned, dressed in fresh clothes, and sometimes even repaired if they show signs of decay. Then comes the most astonishing part. The dead are walked through the village. Yes, you read that right. Relatives hold them upright, guiding their stiff limbs as if they are strolling alongside the living. Photos are taken, stories are shared, and offerings are made. To outsiders, this might seem unsettling, but for the Toraja, it's an act of profound love and respect. It's their way of saying, "You are still with us." Some mummies are centuries old, their faces leathery but eerily lifelike. They sit in caves or hang in suspended coffins, watching over their descendants like silent guardians. The Torajas speak to them, ask for their blessings, and believe their spirits remain active in daily life. Graves that defy gravity, the cliffside tombs of Toraja. Death in Toraja doesn't just involve rituals, it shapes the very landscape. Instead of burying their dead in the ground, the Toraja carve tombs into sheer rock faces, creating entire cliffsides pockmarked with burial chambers. Some coffins are left exposed, dangling from ropes or placed in wooden structures shaped like boats or houses. The most striking are the Tao, life-sized wooden effigies of the deceased, standing on balconies near the tombs. These statues, with their realistic faces and glass eyes, gaze out over the living, a constant reminder of those who came before. In the village of Limo, an entire cliff is studded with these figures, creating an eerie yet beautiful monument to the dead. Why do the Toraja keep their dead close? In Western cultures, death is often sanitized, hidden away in hospitals and funeral homes. But the Toraja confront it head-on, weaving it into the fabric of existence. Their practices may seem extreme, but they serve a deep psychological and spiritual purpose. Death is not feared, but embraced. By keeping the dead present, the Toraja normalize mortality, making it less terrifying. Ancestors remain active guides. The dead are not gone. They are teachers, protectors, and part of the family's ongoing story. Community is strengthened. Funerals and Ma'nene are collective acts, reinforcing social bonds and shared identity. A lesson for the modern world? In an era where death is often treated as a taboo, the Toraja offer a different perspective, one where the departed are celebrated, not forgotten. Their rituals remind us that grief doesn't have to be isolating, that remembering can be joyful, and that those we lose never truly leave us. So the next time you think of the dead as gone, remember the Toraja, who keep their ancestors close, feeding them, dressing them, and walking them through the village under the open sky. In their world, death is not an end, but a different kind of life. And perhaps, in that wisdom, there's something we can all learn.